Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I want to talk about alocasias. Now, this time last year, I had actually filmed a video on how to care for your alocasias if they are struggling, and I figured it's been a little over a year now since I filmed that video, and I feel like I should do like an ultimate guide as to how I've been keeping my alocasias alive and, you know, keeping the leaves even through winter. So yeah, if your plant is still kind of struggling and it's still stuck in the 3-leaf club, I feel like this video might be helpful because I'm gonna go through pretty much every issue that I've ever encountered and common issues that other people have encountered when they are trying to grow their alocasias. So let's get started, and we're gonna start with dormancy. So when we're talking about dormancy, we're talking about the plant itself being super stressed out. Now, alocasias are an interesting plant, in my opinion, because they kind of remind me of myself in the sense that I live in Canada, and when it's wintertime and we have long winters, I legit feel like I go through seasonal affect disorder. And alocasias, they kind of do the same thing in the sense that when it's cold and dark, it's gonna go through a stress period and it's gonna drop all of its leaves, and we call that dormancy. So when your plant is feeling some kind of way, it's mostly because there has been a change in temperature. There isn't enough light because, you know, alocasias, they do prefer longer light duration. So yeah, I just feel like alocasias are kind of like me. Yeah, that's a really strange comparison, but anyways, I digress. So instead of seeing a therapist, the alocasias will drop its leaves and all of the energy will be stored in the bulbs. And with that said, I don't want people to be so stressed out when their plant is going through dormancy, because you know what? When you give your plant the right conditions, in the sense that you're giving it the right substrate, you're giving it more light, you're giving it higher humidity, in the springtime or when the conditions are right, it will give you bigger, better leaves. And you know, these alocasias, they are probably like one of my most favorite velvety plants, just because during the period when I was, you know, learning how to care for them, every time when it would come out of dormancy, the leaves were always bigger and better than before. So yeah, I just don't want anyone to be stressed out. I'm just trying to reiterate that dormancy is a real thing, and sometimes it could be a good thing for your plant because, like I said, it would actually just reset itself, and then when it's ready, it'll give you bigger, better leaves. So one of the ways to prevent your plants from going through dormancy is to basically give it the right conditions. Now, with that said, I do feel like alocasias are kind of, I don't know, they kind of remind me of Goldilocks too, because everything has to be just right. The substrate can't be too wet or too dry, because God forbid if it was, you'll have root rot or you'll have very droopy leaves if you're not giving it enough bright indirect light, in the sense that the duration isn't as long as it should be. Then it's not going to produce any leaves for you. The soil or the substrate that you're using, the pH level shouldn't be too high or too low, because if the pH balance is off, then the plant itself will not be able to what is it? I think like pH levels have to do with nutrients and the absorption of it. So if it's not perfectly balanced, then it's not absorbing the nutrients. So those are things that that affect the growth of your alocasias. So with that said, one of the things that I did for the past 2 years, several years I think, is to basically convert many of my plants to semi-hydro. So when my alocasias were going through the dormancy stage, just dormancy, I actually had taken it out of soil and put it in semi-hydro, and the substrate of choice was ponds. This is is this kind of embarrassing? I didn't realize it was that bad. And I'm referring to the algae buildup here. As you know, algae is not a good thing for your plant, because if you have like major buildup, what's going to end up happening is the roots won't be able to absorb the nutrients. I really should take care of this. Anyways, I'll do that off camera. What I was trying to say was ponds was the substrate that I had chosen to put my alocasias in. So I felt like ponds, actually this one has ponds and Leica in it. Any of those substrates was like a winner. They were winners in my books because when you're using semi-hydro substrates, what's going to happen is the substrate will use capillary action to wick up the water and provide the plant just enough moisture, just enough water to keep it happy. And I chose to use a mixture of ponds and Leica because ponds, as you know, has, what is it, like zeolite, pumice. I'm having a brain fart. But it also has slow releasing fertilizer. And that's actually a really big deal because alocasias are also very heavy, they are heavy feeders. Like you need to continue to feed your alocasias even during the winter time. Okay, maybe I should rephrase this. If your plant is producing leaves like this and you want it to continue to grow and thrive, you need to feed it, okay? You need to give it nutrients. But if your plant is currently in a dormant phase where it's just a bulb, please do not feed it. Like you're not doing, there's no roots. I feel like when the alocasias are in the dormant phase, they don't have any roots to begin with because it just doesn't. And until it starts to produce lots of roots, I would very lightly feed the alocasia. But even then, I probably didn't feed the alocasias any nutrients until I actually saw that it was producing leaves. And I think that's actually really very important to stress, just because I don't know, I feel like even during the winter time, I feed all of my plants, and I think there's like this misconception where there was like a lot of plant people, influencers, what have you, where they would say in the winter time you should water your plants less, you shouldn't fertilize it. But the truth of the matter is, if you are giving your plants the right conditions anyways to grow and thrive, why would you stop doing what you're usually doing in the spring and summertime? Like, I know we're back in like winter times right now. Last week was like nice weather that we had and people were wearing shorts, and now I have like 10 centimeters of snow that I need to go shovel. But even during the winter, it doesn't stop me from providing my plants the appropriate conditions for it to grow and thrive. I mean, unless you want your plants to go through a dormancy phase, that's all you. But personally for me, even during the winter time, I don't hold back on the water. And I also feel like watering is such a, I don't know how to phrase this, but I think when I was first getting into plants, a lot of people would say, oh, you should be you should be watering your plants more frequently during the summertime and not so much during the winter time. But it's like, duh. Of course, you're more likely to to water your plants more during the summertime because it's hot out, the water has evaporated more. Whereas in the winter time, if it's not under like grow lights or what have you, and it's outside, obviously it's dark, there's no sunlight to absorb to evaporate the water. I'm getting off topic. What I'm trying to say is, alocasias are heavy feeders. If you have leaves already, it needs energy, man. You gotta give it some feeds. You gotta give it some nutrients. Please go ahead and continue to give your alocasias nutrients so that it can continue to grow and thrive for you. And one of the things that I did with all of my, well, only have 2 alocasias now. I had a dragon scale and a silver dragon, but they just got too big and I was like, no, I don't have the space for it, was to convert all of my alocasias, well, most of my plants. Oh, bless you, that was PETA. I converted my plants into semi-hydro, and ponds was a great option because, like I said, ponds typically has the perfect pH balance for your plants, and the fact that it does have slow releasing fertilizer in it, I don't have to be too concerned about not feeding it. So yeah, let's just move on to the next topic. All right, so the next topic is humidity. Now, as we all know, these tropical plants, they do prefer high humidity. And when I say high humidity, we're probably looking at like 70 to 80% humidity. In this room right now, it's probably, I would say 30 to 40. Yeah, 30 to 40% humidity. And I'm not ashamed of it, okay? I worked really hard to get my plants to continue to grow and thrive in these terrible conditions. So I don't know. I guess what I want to say is humidity does play a huge factor in keeping your plants happy, but these guys have been growing just fine throughout winter in regular room temperature. In fact, this regular fry deck right here, during the summertime, she actually gets moved downstairs to sit in front of a south facing window, I think. And she's actually like above the air conditioning vent, so there's no humidity there like at all. But what I'm trying to say is when your plant is kind of struggling already and it's going through a dormancy phase, please give it high humidity. Once it's established itself and it's happy, you can start to take away humidity and acclimate it to regular room temperature, regular room humidity, and it'll continue to grow and thrive, because these guys are definitely growing and thriving as I am filming this video. So I don't know, I guess if it's struggling, please give it high humidity. But like I said, it is still possible for your plants to continue to grow and thrive in regular room temperature. One thing that I do want to say about alocasias is they are prone to spider mites, but I feel like I feel like spider mites really only attack plants that are kind of on its way out. So like if your plant is already kind of struggling, it's more likely to develop an infestation of spider mites, or in the sense, not, how do I phrase this? A healthy plant can fight off the spider mites. But if your plant is unhealthy in the sense that it's wanting to go through, it wants to go through dormancy, then it's more likely to get infested by spider mites because it can't fight off the spider mites. Now, I can film a separate video as to how I had combated spider mites on my alocasias in the past. I feel like you guys are gonna laugh when I tell you, but if you're interested and you want me to film another video as to how to prevent your alocasias from getting spider mites, just leave a comment down below and let me know. But otherwise, yeah, that's also something that I want to mention to you guys. Alocasias are prone to spider mites. Actually, I think all velvety leaves are prone to spider mites, because my gloriosum has velvety leaves, and I think when it was struggling, it definitely suffered a little bit from spider mites. But now that they're just established plants and they're happy, I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, those were all of my, I guess, like tips, tricks, more so a guide as to how to continue to grow your alocasias through the winter seasons. Basically, continue to give your plant plenty of light, continue to feed your plant, continue to give it lots of water, because if you don't stress out your plant, it's going to continue to grow and thrive for you. If you stop watering your plant, if you like take away more light from it, yeah, it's going to definitely freak out and it's going to go through dormancy and it will drop all of its leaves. So that was all I had to say about alocasias, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!